As requested by Commissar Kain. You should make a story about a mummy and his misadventures with construction site Portapotys. Okay. Once upon a time there was a mummy. His name was Joe. Joe had spent eons in his tomb, minding his own business, enjoying the afterlife. But one day, the evil archaeologists came and dug Joe up out of the ground and put him in a museum. Joe, not liking this turn of events, felt that he needed to take his revenge. So, putting a curse on the museum, everyone who entered died. Eventually, not feeling that this was sufficient enough punishment, Joe rose from his coffin, or sarcophagus. Which one? So he rose from it, and he walked out of the building to terrorize the people around. But this new world, such buildings so high, they rivaled the pyramids. So, Joe walked down the street, or shambled rather, scaring everyone in his path. They screamed, "Ah! Mummy! Alive! It's not Halloween!" and got out of his way. Eventually, Joe came upon a great construction in progress. There were great pillars of substance that he did not recognize. And all around there seemed to be a gray brick-like substance. He walked into the construction, hoping to find something of use about this new civilization, while continuing to scare all those around him. He looked around. The workers at the construction site looked back at him and went back to work. They were construction workers. Nothing bothers them. Joe shambled around the construction site, and eventually he noticed a porta-potty. A portable outhouse. A toilet that can move. He didn't know what it was at first, but he shambled up to it, banged on the door a few times, tried to figure it out, and realized he could open it. Upon opening it, he found a toilet. It was very similar to the toilets of ancient Egypt, where he once ruled. He realized it had been eons since he had gone to the bathroom. Surely he had to relieve himself. So, he sat on the toilet. But something was wrong. He still had his bandages on. How was he going to take his bandages off? Because he couldn't defecate in his own bandages. No, he had to take them off or shuffle them around a bit. So, he shuffled around the bandages around his nether regions, sat back down, and waited. It was hours that he waited in that porta-potty, but nothing came. "What is wrong with me?" Joe proclaimed. "Why can I not make a proper bowel movement?" He was a British Egyptian mummy, apparently. Let's go with it. So, he waited more. Eventually, the next morning, a construction worker wanted to use the porta-potty. "What's taking you so long in there?" he asked. "I can't seem to defecate," Joe replied. "It's just not coming out." The construction worker, a little bit confused and worried for what he thought was a companion of his, told him that, "Well, if you're not going to do your business, you should get out of there." Joe, resigned to his fate, stood up, reshuffled his bandages around his nether regions, and left the porta-potty. The construction worker was very surprised, but a look of comprehension came upon his face. "Hey, ain't you one of them mummies? No wonder you can't defecate. You ain't got no bowels or other organs. They took that out of you way back when." Joe, suddenly remembering that he was dead and without organs, realized too the foolishness of his ways. From that day forth, Joe used his supernatural mummy powers to help the construction workers, and he made their construction go much faster with the help of whips and very strict guards and taskmasters. The warden of the construction workers, I think that's the right word, was very grateful for Joe. Joe eventually became the head of his own construction company, Joe Incorporated. And they all lived happily ever after. The end.